The time is uncertain, the air is warm, and somewhere, before the sun has touched the bamboo walls, you are already awake. Not by alarm, not by command, but by the quiet rhythm of a world that moves without ever raising its voice. You are not a lord, you are not a samurai. You are simply someone who lives here in a house that breathes with the wind, on a floor that remembers every footstep. The mat beneath you is still cool. The sky outside is still dark. But in the corner of the wooden bathhouse, water is already warming over flame dot. This is not the kind of story told in scrolls or carved on stones. It is not the story of heroes or wars or emperors. It is a story of steam, of cracked fingers, of the soft, wet sound of a towel being wrung out before dawn. You rise, not because you must, but because you do. Quietly, so as not to wake anyone else. You slide open the paper door. A draft touches your ankles. You feel the day's weight before it begins. But there is comfort in the ritual, in the order, in the waiting warmth. Your feet touch the stones outside. They are not sharp, but they are honest. Each one is a memory. Each one has held the weight of others before you. The firewood crackles. Someone has already lit it. Perhaps the old woman who always wakes before the birds. Perhaps no one at all. The bath water does not boil. It breathes, slowly, with purpose. It does not rush. And neither do you. In this house, in this hour, there is no language louder than breath. The only voices are the creaking of beams, the distant call of a crow, the rhythm of water being stirred in a wooden tub. You do not speak. There is no need to. Everything here remembers. The stone remembers where to step. The ladle remembers how to pour. The steam remembers your shape. You are not important, but you are known. Quietly, gently. There's a wooden stool near the tub. It is worn. Its legs are uneven. But it is always in the same place, like the bowl beside it. Like the kambu. Cloth folded on top. Nothing here is new, and nothing tries to be. You wash not to impress, but to prepare. For silence. For duty. For the long day that does not announce itself, but waits, politely, outside the sliding door. This moment, the heat, the mist, the stillness, is not a beginning. It is a remembering. That before the shouts and the errands and the weight of hours, there is this. Warm water. Soft steam. A body briefly unburdened. And as you sit, alone with the scent of wet wood and the soft rhythm of your own breath, you realize this is not just bathing. It is a ceremony. One that no one writes down. One that no one names. But one that quietly, every morning, saves you. The sky is still asleep. The trees have not yet moved. But you are already outside, carrying wood. Your breath hangs in the air, a pale ribbon that curls and disappears into the morning. The firewood is heavier today. Or perhaps your hands are simply colder. The ground beneath your feet is damp with frost. Even the stones seem reluctant to hold your weight. The bathhouse waits, silent and still. A wooden box of warmth, tucked into the corner of the home like a forgotten thought. Its door creaks open, not because you force it, but because it always does. It remembers your rhythm. It knows you arrive before the birds begin their songs. Inside, the air holds last night's silence. The bathwater is only a promise, not yet. Real. You kneel by the furnace, arranging the wood with the care of someone who knows how little separates warmth from smoke. One log at a time, one breath, one pause, a flint, a spark, a curl of smoke. The fire does not roar, it whispers. Like everything else in this world, it asks permission before it begins. And you wait not with impatience, but with respect. You do not sit. You do not stretch. There is no luxury in this moment. Only the duty of warmth. The beginning of cleansing. The wooden ladle sits beside the tub, upside down, so no dust gathers. Inside, The stool is where you left it. The cloth stiff from yesterday's drying is folded, unchanged. These things are not possessions, they are companions. They wait for you without judgment. You check the water, still cold. Your breath fogs the surface, and for a moment you see your reflection not clearly, but enough to recognize yourself as someone who does this every day, without audience, without applause. A crow cries in the distance. A bamboo creaks. The world begins to stretch itself awake. But you remain still, kneeling beside a tub that does not yet welcome you. There is a kind of grace in that, in serving warmth before receiving it, in lighting fire before feeling it. The scent of burning cedar rises slowly. It clings to your sleeves. It softens your nose. It becomes part of your morning. You do not need incense. This is enough. By the time the first trickle of warmth touches the water's edge, you are already elsewhere, folding the cloth, preparing tea, opening a door. The bath will be ready when it is ready. You will not rush it. The heat must find its own way. You glance back before leaving. Steam is beginning to rise, barely visible, almost imagined. But it is there, like the first note of a lullaby, played in reverse. The song of a day that hasn't yet begun, but has already asked to be treated kindly. You carry the empty basket back to the house. The logs are gone, the chill still in your fingers, but you are not cold anymore. Not because the air has changed, but because the ritual has begun, and that is enough. There is a moment when the robe slips off your shoulders. It does not fall, it yields. And in that quiet yielding, something unspoken begins. The room is warm now, hot but held. The fire did its work. The steam curls softly against the wooden walls, gathering in corners like thoughts that never found words. You stand at the threshold of water, wrapped only in the sound of your breath. There is no mirror, no need. The body is not a subject here. It is not judged, adorned, or examined. It is simply what it is, a vessel that moves, that endures, that enters water because water has been made ready. You do not speak. No one does. Even if someone else were here, there would be no voices. Only the sounds of cloth folding onto a stool, of bare feet brushing across smooth stone, of water shifting in quiet anticipation. Silence is not shame. It is respect for the space, for the warmth, for the body itself, uncovered not to be seen, but to be renewed. The air kisses your skin in places usually hidden, the back of your knee, the line of your collarbone. It is not exposure. It is return. A way of reminding the body that it is whole, that it belongs to the earth and to no one else. You step closer to the bath. Slowly, not for effect, but because there is no reason to rush. The heat waits, patient. The water does not invite. It receives. And when your foot finally slips beneath the surface, it is not with a splash, but with a whisper. The sound is so soft, it almost disappears into the steam. Like breath becoming part of breath, like memory softening into ritual. You sit. The wood beneath you is wet, but smooth. Polished by years, not by oil, but by use. This place has welcomed generations. It has known joy, sorrow, fatigue, forgiveness, all without needing to be told. You are not alone here. Even if you are the only one in the room. The heat wraps around you like an old hand, gentle but insistent. The steam touches your face like a mother pressing her lips to your temple. And the silence stays not empty, but full. Full of presence, of patience. Someone, somewhere is chopping vegetables. You hear the blade on wood, faint but steady. Crow again, the fire sighing under the bath. Life continues. But in here, you are still. There is no performance, no modesty, no boldness, just being. Just skin, water, and the sound of nothing needing to be said. And that is enough. The stones do not speak, yet they remember. Every foot that has stepped here. Every morning that has passed with the same silent grace. They have held sorrow and sweat. And now they hold you. Your feet rest on them, bare and still damp. The warmth from the bath lingers on your skin. You hold a small wooden ladle in one hand. The other rests on your knee. You are not in a hurry. No one here is doubt the steam curls around the edges of the room like a ribbon. It moves without pattern, like breath from a sleeping child. It wraps around the stones, clings to the beams, and melts into your eyelashes. It is not smoke, it is not air. It is the memory of heat. You dip the ladle into the wooden basin. The water is warm, but not scalding. You lift it slowly, not because you must, but because it feels right. And then, gently you pour. The stream arcs in silence. It lands on the stone with a sound older than words, a hiss, a sigh, a reminder. The stone darkens, then lightens again, like breath leaving a body. Like yesterday, being forgiven. Each stone has been washed 1,000 times. But still, it carries the faintest trace of those who walked before. A mother kneeling after tending the fire. A grandfather soaking his aching joints in the last light of day. A child laughing too loudly once. You do not see them, but they are. Here, not as ghosts, as echoes, you pour again. This time on your shoulders. The water slips over your collarbone, down your chest. It gathers in the hollows of your body, then returns to the stone. The heat loosens something in your spine, in your thoughts. You exhale not loudly, just enough. The ladle rests again. The bowl waits. The water warms. Outside, a bamboo grove sways. It creaks like old knuckles. A bird lands, then leaves. Life continues beyond the wooden walls, but inside it narrows. It softens. It circles around the sound of water on stone. You take a cloth, worn thin but faithful, and dip it into the basin. It drinks slowly. You squeeze it out over the same stone, and the same steam rises again. You could do this forever. You feel as though you have, not because time has stopped, but because it has agreed to be quiet. The floor beneath you is uneven, shaped not by design, but by footsteps. These grooves are not mistakes, they are proof that people were here, that they carried weight, that they returned. You lean forward slightly, hands on your knees. The steam beads at your temples. A drop slides down your cheek, and for a moment, it is unclear whether it is sweat, water, or a memory. Then, you pour once more. And that is enough. The water is warm, but the silence is warmer. 3 generations share the same space, the same tub, the same hour. There is no awkwardness, only memory made flesh. The tub is wooden, darkened by time, smoothed by decades of water and touch. It creaks not in complaint, but in recognition. It knows the weight of your mother's arms, the lightness of your child's laugh. It holds them both. And now it holds you. You sit first, knees drawn, spine slightly curved. Not because you're tired, but because this is how it's always been. You remember watching your grandfather bathe when you were small. The way his hands moved slowly over his arms, as if each wash was a prayer. Now he sits behind you, older, slower, but still precise. His hands still know the way. A cloth rests between his fingers, dipped in hot water, wrung once, then laid across your back. He doesn't speak. He doesn't need to. The water carries more than warmth. Your mother is beside you. Her hand rests lightly on your knee as she pours water from a ladle over your shoulder. You don't flinch. You don't thank her aloud. These gestures are not favors. They are inheritance. The steam is thicker now, rising around the edges of the tub like forgotten dreams. You hear your younger sister humming in the corner, her voice just above breath. She is washing her own hair, slow circles at her scalp, her eyes half closed. A child giggles, not yours, but someone's, a niece, a nephew. You don't look, you only smile. Because this bath is not about individuals. It is about togetherness. Shared space. Shared water. Shared time. The walls of the bathhouse are thin, but they hold more history than stone. Here, laughter doesn't echo. It folds inward, settling into the grain of the wood. Here, sorrow is rinsed gently, not scrubbed. Here, the body is not separate from the soul. Your grandfather clears his throat. Not to speak, just to remind the room he's still there. He scoops water and lets it pour over your back. It runs down like rain over stone. And suddenly, you remember being 5 years old, your face tilted up, your eyes shut tight, your laughter echoing in this very same tub. You are older now. Your hands are stronger. But when your mother passes you the ladle, it feels like the same moment suspended in time. Again and again, you pour water over her shoulders. She nods faintly, a thank you not said, only felt. She closes her eyes and leans back. You do not look away. In this space, age is not a loss. It is a layering, each wrinkle a story, each scar a passage. The water is quieter now. Not still but content. No one rushes, no one scrubs too hard. Everything is circular. The water warms, then cools, then warms again. A towel is passed. A small boy climbs into his grandmother's lap. A girl begins braiding her mother's wet hair. There is no order, no instruction, only knowing, and the tub. It creaks again. Not from strain, from memory. It has seen all of this before. And it will again. You step out slowly, dripping. Your toes touch the warm wood floor. A cloth wraps around your waist. Your grandfather is still inside. Your mother too. The child now laughs again. You do not speak. You bow slightly. And step aside. And that. That is enough. There is a sound that marks the start of evening. It is not the cry of a bird, nor the closing of a door. It is the soft, rounded sigh of wood receiving water in a body. That sound is peace. The bath is ready. The steam rises in slow threads, tracing invisible paths toward the ceiling's beams. The air smells of cedar and heat, of soap long since rinsed away, of skin made bare not for vanity, but for rest. And then you step in. Not with a splash, not even with urgency, but with care. With pause, with the reverence of one who knows that warmth must be earned. Your heel touches the water first, then your soul. The boards beneath shift ever so slightly, and the tub releases its breath. That breath is a sound, round and low, and almost alive. The sound of wood accepting you. Cree, E-A-K. It's not a creak of complaint. It is a welcoming. Like an old friend moving slightly to make room. Like a page of a book turning itself. You lower yourself in slowly. Your knees bend. Your body yields. You don't speak. No one ever does. And again, it comes. Cree, E-A-K. This time from a deeper place beneath the surface. Beneath the grain. As if the very tub remembers every person who has ever sat in it. Their shape, their weight, their grief. It does not judge. It only receives. The water adjusts itself around you, gently rocking. And the sound continues, soft as wind moving through dry grass, as the wood beneath you hums in quiet reply. You close your eyes. In that moment, the sound becomes more than wood. It becomes breath, memory, time passing but not moving. The old ones say that the bath sings. That if you listen closely enough, you can hear stories in its creaks. A mother holding her newborn in winter. A grandfather soaking sore feet after harvest. A girl washing away tears after her first love was lost. They are not myths. They are echoes. Each creak is a syllable. Each drip, a whisper. You lean your head back against the edge. It is warm, not hot. The kind of warmth that asks nothing from you. The kind that simply stays. Cree, E-A-K. And you remember, not in words, but in sensations. A hand pouring water down your back when you were too small to do it yourself. The feeling of someone lifting you out, wrapping you in a thick cloth. The scent of evening rice cooking. The sound of sandals tapping outside. None of this is present now, but it lives in the sound. The wooden tub remembers when you cannot. The room around you fades. Steam blurs the walls. Light shifts, soft and golden, like candlelight through paper. And still the sound continues. Cree, eak. It is not constant. It arrives like thought, like wind, like kindness. A small shift of your shoulder, a deepening of your breath, and the tub responds. It flexes slightly, gives way, tells you, yes, you are here, you are known. You are carried. You run your fingers along the edge. The wood is wet and smooth, worn thin in places, but strong. It has held generations. And tonight, it holds you. No one will remember this moment. There will be no diary, no story, no name etched into time, but the tub will remember. The sound will remain. Cree, eak. And that is enough. You forget many things, faces, words, seasons. Scent lingers. It wraps itself into the quiet corners of memory. And in the bathhouse it breathes with you. The room is warm. Not just from the water, not only from the steam, but from the scent that rises in layers, soft and unseen. The scent of hinoki wood, dry, citrus-like, ancient. A tree that once stood for centuries, now giving its final gift in silence. You sit quietly, your back straight, your knees bent. In front of you, the wooden basin steams gently. You do not move yet. You inhale. The scent enters you like memory. It doesn't ask permission. It doesn't knock. It drifts in and settles somewhere behind your ribs. Hinok. It smells like safety. Like things that were carefully made and never hurried. It smells like the first time you came to this bathhouse holding your grandmother's hand. The walls were taller then. The floor colder. But the scent has not changed. You dip the cloth into the water. It soaks, darkening like paper beneath ink. You wring it out, slowly. Not because it must be perfect, but because the motion is sacred. And then, the soap. Not a bottle. Not foam, just a small bar, wrapped once in linen. It's been used 100 times, maybe more. Its edges are soft, rounded. It smells of rice husk and mountain flowers. And hinoki, you rub it between your palms. A gentle lather appears, barely a whisper. Not much, just enough. And you lift the cloth again. You begin with your arms, not in haste. Not for cleansing, but to remember. The cloth moves in circles. Each. Pass a page from a book long since closed. You do not remember what your grandmother said that day, but you remember the scent. You remember her voice being low, her movements careful. You remember the smell of her robe, soaked with cedar and thyme. You rinse the cloth, then begin again, this time your neck. You close your eyes. The scent of hinoki is stronger now. Lifted by the heat, carried on steam. It reaches the beams of the ceiling, where it finds the dust of laughter, of sighs, of years. You think of your mother. Her hair pinned high, her voice always reminding you to rinse twice. You remember watching her apply soap to her elbows, as if they were rare stones. You didn't understand why. Now you do. Because in this space small gestures are rituals. And rituals are memory in motion. You lean forward, letting your forehead touch your knees. The warmth from the tub rises into your spine. The cloth rests in your hands now. The soap sits by your side, and the scent. It surrounds you. You are not alone. You are with every version of yourself who has ever sat here. The child who splashed too loudly and was hushed. The teenager who stared at the ceiling and asked questions with no answers. The adult who came here tired and left lighter. They are all still here. Inhale. You hear someone entering another tub nearby. You don't look. You don't need to. Water shifts, and the hinoki scent thickens. The air feels like velvet. A cough, then silence. You wash your chest slowly. The soap is fading now, down to a sliver. You don't replace it. You just continue. Because here, in this bathhouse, nothing is ever wasted. Not water, not time, not scent. You rest your hands in the basin. The steam kisses your face. And for a moment, it is not the present anymore. You are back in a winter bath. Your grandfather is still alive. He hands you a towel. It smells like sun and cedar and years of careful folding. He doesn't speak. You don't either. But the scent says everything. You open your eyes. The moment is gone. But the scent remains. You stand slowly. You rinse your body once more. The water flows over you, taking nothing away, only settling things into place. You dry off, quietly. You fold the cloth. And as you leave the bathhouse, the scent lingers. In your hair, in your skin, in the air behind you, and maybe days later. Weeks, even when you least expect it, in a breeze, in a dream, in the folds of a towel. It will return, and you will remember, not everything, just enough. There are baths you take with others, filled with laughter, conversation, warmth passed between hands. And there are baths you take alone, not because no one is there, but because no one can enter the silence you're carrying. Tonight, you walk. Slowly, slippers soft against the hallway stones. The bathhouse is not empty, but it feels like it is. Because no one speaks to you. And you speak to no one. You bow gently at the threshold, not to anyone in particular, but to the place itself. The wooden frame creaks in its usual way. You remove your robe, fold it with care, and place it beside the wall. Then, naked, you step into the bathroom. The steam greets you like an old friend. Familiar, comforting. But tonight, it does not lift your mood. It only softens the edges of your thoughts. You sit on the stool, alone. There are no shared buckets. Tonight, no towels passed hand to hand. No words murmured across steam. Just you, your hands, your thoughts. You pour water slowly over your shoulders. It runs down your back in gentle rivers. It is warm, just warm enough. But it doesn't chase away the cold you feel in your chest. You do not cry. That is not your way. But you move a little more slowly tonight. As if the weight of the day is sitting beside you on the wooden floor. You reach for the cloth. Rub the soap in. Begin with your left arm. Always the left. Always the same. But tonight, each motion feels heavier. You remember someone washing you. Years ago. Maybe your mother. Maybe your sister. You don't remember her words. Only her presence. The way her fingers moved with care. As if you were something delicate. You do not feel delicate now. You wash your face. Gently. Avoiding your eyes. Not because they sting, but because they have seen too much today. Outside the bathhouse, the wind picks up. You hear it whistle softly through the cracks in the walls. It sounds like someone trying not to be heard. You lean forward, resting your elbows on your knees, water dripping from your hair. You breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Again. This is your ritual. No one else's. No one will know you sat here tonight. Number. One will ask, but that is the point. Because some silences cannot be broken. Some spaces inside you are not ready for light. Some sadnesses are too private to be named. So you let the water hold them. You let the steam wrap around them like cloth. Let the heat blur the shape of your pain. You wash your legs, your feet. Carefully, not like scrubbing. More like remembering. You rise. Step slowly into the tub. The wooden edges creak. The water shifts. And you lower yourself in, inch by inch, like sinking into the past. The warmth covers you, but the loneliness does not leave. You are not lonely for people. You are lonely for understanding. Are lonely for the version of yourself who didn't carry this weight. But in this moment, you care for that person quietly. You pour water down your shoulder. You close your eyes, and in that stillness, in that solitude, something soft begins to bloom. Not joy, Not healing, but care. You reach for the towel. Dry your skin slowly. You dress. You bow once more to the bathhouse and step out into the dark. Are still alone. But now, your loneliness is quieter. It has been witnessed even if only by warm water and hinoki-scented air. And sometimes, that is enough. The bath you take before sleep is not a goodbye to the day. It is a quiet promise to begin again. The sky outside is ink. Not quite black, not yet blue. That delicate moment when the world pauses, not dark, not light, just waiting. Inside the bathhouse, everything is still. The lamps are low. Their flickering reflects gently on the wet stone floor. Shadows stretch long and quiet, like old thoughts finding new shapes. You enter without a sound. You do not rush. You do not speak. Even your breath is careful, measured, respectful. Because this time of day, this hour belongs to silence. The air smells of wet cedar and old soap. The buckets are stacked neatly. The towels folded into corners. Someone has just left. Someone else may come, but for now, it is only you. You sit. The stool creaks faintly beneath your weight. You remove your robe, and the warmth of the room wraps around your skin like a memory. You dip your hands in the water. It is warm, not hot. The kind of warmth that doesn't surprise you. The kind that remembers. You pour it gently over your shoulders. Again, and again. Each motion slow. Each breath long. Not to cleanse, to shed, to let go without announcement, without proof. The water carries away the dust of the day. The things you didn't say. The things you said but wish you hadn't. The glances, the pauses, the small burdens you collected like lint in your sleeves. Like weight behind your eyes. You wash your face. You wash behind your ears. You let the water rinse your throat, as if to quiet the words you swallowed. And then you enter the tub. Slowly, respectfully, not as someone who needs rest, but as someone who has earned it. The warmth embraces you like a lullaby without sound. You do not close your eyes yet. You look at the ceiling, the wooden beams, the single cobweb in the far corner. It's been there for days. You haven't told anyone. You don't need to. It belongs here. Just like you. You lean back, your shoulders disappear. Beneath the surface, the world becomes muted, distant. Kind. You stay like this for a while. Breathing, drifting, not asleep, not awake, just floating between them. And slowly, something begins to shift. Not outside you. Inside. A small knot, somewhere in your chest, begins to loosen. It does not vanish. It does not unravel all at once. But it moves. As if the water, this warm, silent water, has convinced it that it is safe to soften. You exhale. You close your eyes. You are not thinking of tomorrow. You are not regretting today. You are simply here. Held. And in this holding you are remade. You will dry off soon. You will fold your towel. You will step out into the cool night air and walk slowly to your room. The wood warm beneath your feet. Your body light. You will sleep. But before all that, you will linger. Just a little longer. Because this bath, this quiet hour, is not about cleansing your skin. It is about remembering that you are alive. And that, no matter what the day brought, you still belong to the world. Not as something broken, but as something still becoming. It doesn't end when you step out of the water. It ends slower than that, like steam fading from glass, or a dream you're not quite ready to let go of. You pause. Not because you're uncertain, but because you've forgotten what comes next. Your hands are damp, your shoulders bare. The air greets your skin like a soft reminder. That was then. This is now. You reach for the towel, the one always folded in the same place, always a little too thin. It doesn't cover you. It holds you. You don't dry quickly. You press gently. You move slowly, not from fatigue, but from reverence. Each movement is quieter than the last, as if your limbs have learned to whisper. The water on your arms becomes cool. The droplets slide from your fingertips and vanish into the wooden floor. You look at your feet. Steam still rises from them. You step forward. The floorboards creak, not loudly, not rudely. They sigh as if remembering your weight. The door to the bath remains open behind you. The light inside golden, breathing its last warmth into the corridor. You don't look back. You've left enough of yourself there already. Your robe is where you left it, folded neatly on the bench, like a secret waiting to be worn again. You put it on slowly. First the left arm, then the right. The fabric is rough, against your shoulder, familiar. You tie the sash without thought, like a ceremony you were born knowing. It doesn't tighten, it settles. And then you stand still, still enough to hear everything. The crackle of the bath's final coals, the drip of water from the ladle's edge, the wind outside brushing the rice paper walls. It's all there, as if the world is catching its breath with you. You walk. The corridor is long. The lanterns dim. Your steps soft. You pass the cedar doorway. You pass the stone set in sand. The garden is quiet. Even the frogs have stopped. Your room awaits, inside. A mat, a cushion, a wooden tray with tea you'll forget to drink. You kneel. You lower yourself down. Your hair is still wet. Your skin still tingle, ease. And yet, the world has never felt farther away. You lie back. The ceiling is just darkness. No patterns. No movement. Just the silence of something larger than thought. You pull the blanket over your legs, not to warm. To remember. Water is gone, but its rhythm lingers in your chest, in your breath, in the slow pulse at your neck. You blink once. The lantern outside flickers. You close your eyes, not to sleep, not yet, but to fall deeper into what the bath began, a return. To something quiet, to something soft, to the part of you that never had a name, but always remembered how to float. You exhale, and somewhere inside that breath is the memory of warmth. Not hot, not loud. Just enough. Enough to carry you, enough to hold you. Enough to become you. Because when you leave the bath, it doesn't leave you. It becomes your silence, your stillness, your sleep. And in the quiet hours of the night, someone walking past your door will pause, not knowing why. And listen, not for your voice, but for the absence of it, warm and invisible like steam that never quite left the air. You stepped out of the bath long ago, and yet something lingers. The warmth is gone. The room is dark. The air is cooler now, settled into the bones of the house. But inside you, something still glows, quietly, without flame. Tonight, you've washed your skin, but not your memories. And that's all right, because here, in this old corner of Japan, a bath was never just about being clean. It was about being a ceremony, a surrender, a story whispered through water. You lie on your futon, body wrapped in a robe that still holds the scent of steam. You shift slightly. The mattress sighs beneath you, soft and forgiving. There is no wind tonight, only the faint creak of wood, as the house adjusts not to cold, but to silence. And in that silence, things begin to rise. Not noise, not thoughts, but traces. A drop sliding down your back hours ago. The hiss of water as it met stone. Your grandmother's hands once washing your hair. A voice. A laugh. A long-forgotten smile. These are not dreams. They are leftovers from a ritual older than words. The Japanese bath was, and still is, a space where the day ends, but the self begins again. You remember the water cupping your spine. You remember your breath slowing. You remember the way your fingers floated before your mind did. The body forgets stress before the heart does. And tonight, as your body rests, your heart catches up gently. It listens. It exhales. It forgives. Not everything washed away. Not everything needs to. There are things that belong to you even in silence. You turn your head on the pillow. The paper wall glows faintly, moonlight brushing it like ink on rice paper. Outside, nothing moves. Inside, nothing needs to, because you have bathed. And bathing is remembrance of who you were, of who you are, when no one else is watching. Even the robe around you, damp at the edges, feels like a friend that doesn't speak but stays. You close your eyes again, not to sleep, but to float. You don't need to try. You're already drifting. And if someone were to ask you in the morning what you dreamed about, you wouldn't say nothing. You'd say steam, water, the weightlessness of being held not by arms, but by warmth. That is what the bath gives. And even now, in a world filled with alarms and screens, schedules and steal, a single, quiet bath can still return you to something ancient, to something sacred, to something that never needed words. So tonight, as you drift further, we ask gently, what time is it where you are right now? Where in the world are you listening from? Let us know in the comments. We're always curious how far these quiet moments travel. And if this soft journey helped you rest, leave a like. It tells us we're whispering in the right direction. For more slow stories, soft histories, and silent rituals from distant worlds, consider subscribing. Here, we don't just talk about the past, we let it hold us. One breath at a time. Good night.